All right, today, guys, I just want to take a look at something. With my job, I'm laid off in the winter for a couple months, and been there, what, 13 or 14 years now. And so every year you file for unemployment. In Ohio, you have a benefit year, and you're eligible for up to 26 weeks, which I never use anything close to that. But so, anyways, when you start the new season, you get off unemployment. Then when you get laid off, mid-November, you or so, you get back on. Most of the time, then I only have a couple weeks left, and then I have to start a new benefit year. So I got a letter on February the 4th, or it was an email, and just in part it said, "Hello, we need your help to make Ohio Means Jobs even better. The Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, ODJFS, wants to talk to recent users of Ohio Means Jobs to find ways to make services easier." And then it says, "If you're willing, we'd like to schedule about a 20 minutes to talk to you by phone or computer. We'll ask about your job search, yada, yada, yada." And I thought, you know what? I've got some concerns myself about the system, so yeah, I'd be willing to do that. And so just as a little background, well, what I'm going to show you is I took screenshots. And so I couldn't believe one of the questions I asked. Showed their wokeness. Couldn't believe it. So anyways, I'm going to show a couple of screenshots, and I'm going to show that screenshot. But when you've been on a job 13, 14 years, it's the same job. Your employer, who's been the same, verifies, yes, you're laid off. Unemployment's had all this information every year, and you've got to redo it. I don't know. And so when I reopened, okay, just to finish out the rest of my benefit year, you always get a notice of eligibility issue. So I had to upload documents: my driver's license, passport, social security card, certificate of naturalization, because I was born in another country, but I am a legal immigrant, and then my last pay stub. And this is all stuff they've already had in the system, especially when work has verified. So it seems ridiculous, but you got to go through the hoops. And then about 2 weeks later, that benefit year ends. It doesn't matter how much money you have in there. You have to start all over. And they want the same damn thing. And then they also added something where you have to do a unemployment claim identity verification, where you go up to the post office. They give you a barcode, they scan it, you show them your license, and they say, "Yup, this is the guy." Which, like I said, I understand there's corruption in the system, people trying to get it, but it just seems that it should be more fluid when you've been in the system year after year like that. Now, I will say my ink was running. I was actually starting to run out. I do have extra new ink cartridges, but I decided just to print these few without wasting too much ink on them, because I'm going to throw these away anyways. So I went up to the link they provided, and then it said apologies, that all the dates on here were taken. And I found that very hard to believe, that the whole month of February was taken. But then another link pops up, and it says, "Hey, would you like to just do this online?" Which I thought, yeah, that's even... Now you can pause the screen to read this. This is the initial, what pops up when you start the questionnaire online. Now I take screenshots of everything. Anything important, I don't care what it is, I take screenshots in case there's an issue. I can say, "Nope, this is what we got." So here, what were the biggest challenges you faced in your job search? Select up to 2. I selected other, and I said dealing with unemployment's bullshit. Do welfare workers and single mothers have to jump so many hoops? Now, I did that. I should have meant welfare recipients. So I didn't really see that till after I looked at the... so that's what I meant. Because, as a worker, your tax dollars are going to these people do they have to do all this? And like, again, they want you to look for work, which is no problem. Okay, I mean, I'm going back to the same job, but you know, I understand that you do have to look for work, because if you don't have a job to go back to, you know, you can't be getting money without doing something. So I realize that, but so I put that in there. Now the next one was, what made you decide to use Ohio Means Jobs? Select one. Well, again, I hit other because none of them really applied. Basically, I had to. When I said forced to by unemployment. When you sign up for unemployment in Ohio, obviously there's rules. I understand that. Not a big deal. But they dictate to you what you have to do. So the really, the answer that really is correct is I was told to. What other things would be helpful to you if they were available on OhioMeansJobs.com? Now, my answer more or less was towards the unemployment system. I somewhat wish I would have had a phone call, because I could have had more of a conversation with the person. Here, you really can't do that. So, here's my answer. Not being forced to upload the same goddamn resume every year that hasn't changed. And that's the problem, is your resume, when you've been on the same job, it doesn't change. You should just be able to say it doesn't change. Okay? It may have changed, but if it hadn't, so what you got to do is go through the hoops. You have to go up there, delete it, and re-put it up there. And then they have another thing you got to do, which is, I guess, I don't know how to say it. They ask questions as to kind of lead you to what you might be good for, what kind of a job you might, your talents may lead. Now, if you don't know what you're capable of doing, well, I'm just not going to say. So what you have to do, and this is one of the things that I think is ridiculous also, is when you start a new benefit year, you have to do a resume. Again, my resume is the same. It hasn't changed. So they want to know your feelings from, I believe it's like 1 to 5, 0 to 5. And you go through all these questions. Well, they don't change, because what my interests are and what my capabilities are don't change. So what you have to do is lie. So you have to change things, no matter what, because if it doesn't see a change, it says you have not done that. You haven't done that, which is a requirement of unemployment, which I think is ridiculous. So again, the system's broken. I know I spoke to someone several years ago that said they're using a system from I don't know how many years ago. It's antiquated, and she said it needs to be updated. So anyways, that's the reason I put that in. Now this is the question that really I just couldn't believe. What is your gender? Now, you'd think they would just, you know, say male or female. So they've got one choice as male, another as female. But wait a minute, they've got another one that says other and please specify. Well, that's the one I chose. And that's my answer. Unbelievable unemployment. You gotta, I don't know. Doesn't make sense, does it?